Hi, I'm Mike Tenney, host of Pop Culture Catechism, and this is Awaken the Word. One of the things that you'll notice as you read the Gospels, any of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, is how frequently when Jesus encounters a sinner, encounters somebody who's considered on the outs from God's people, his first reaction to them is a reaction of mercy and love and compassion. And a lot of times, that is not people's experience of the church back then or today. A lot of times when people who are outside the church or even inside the church hear of, how does the church treat people? Church people, they're judgy. They're the first to condemn you. They're, can kind of have a reputation as being the least merciful people, unfortunately. And maybe some of that's fair, maybe some of that's not fair. But this should be a challenge for us that when we see Jesus so frequently meeting people right where they are and having compassion for them, even in the midst of their sin, it should challenge us to do the same. A few famous examples, Matthew, or sometimes in the Gospel of Luke, he's called Levi. He's a tax collector. The tax collectors were seen as betraying the Jewish people because they worked for the Romans, and they were often exploitive in the ways that they took money and took all sorts of stuff from the people they were taxing. And so they were seen as betraying their own people and betraying God. Zacchaeus is another example. He was a tax collector, and he climbs this tree to see Jesus. And Jesus says, "Come down here, Zacchaeus. We're going to go have dinner at your house tonight." Zacchaeus is like, "Me?" And everyone's like, "Why are you inviting Zacchaeus? You're going to Zacchaeus' house to eat to him. Don't you know who he is?" But by the end of it, Zacchaeus is giving fourfold back to the people that he had exploited. Think of the Samaritan woman at the well who's visiting the well in the middle of the day because she's got these 5 husbands, and then she's with another man who's not her husband, and so she's outcast from her community and visiting this hot well in the middle of the day, and Jesus meets her and has compassion. The woman caught in adultery, the Roman centurion who Jesus heals his servant, the good thief who hangs next to Jesus on the cross. And Jesus says, this day you will be with me in paradise. Probably the most famous example in the New Testament is the man who was persecuting and killing Christians, killed the first martyr, St. Stephen, St. Paul. But even in all of St. Paul's anger and vitriol towards the church, Jesus reached out to him and touched him, and he became the guy that wrote most of the New Testament. And so, God can do the same thing with us. When we feel like that vile sinner that there's no way God could forgive me, all we have to do is read through the Gospels and see time and time again of times that Jesus forgave people much worse than us. The second thing is it should inspire us with compassion, first and foremost, for those who are sinners and those who are hurting. I have been Mike Tenney, and this has been Awaken the Word.